My first year of priesthood, I was stationed on Lake Michigan and was into kayaking. Unfortunately, I didn't have access to a garage, so I drove my vehicle everywhere with a 16.5-foot neon orange kayak strapped to the roof. Comically, it was an obvious landmark to follow during funeral processions out to the cemetery. People would joke with me and ask, "When is the flood coming?" My response was, "It's already here, and the church is the boat that we must get into to survive." We are facing a flood of sorts. The largest growing group in the U.S. is the unaffiliated, or nones. Almost a quarter of Americans have no religion at all, and among young people the number rises to 40%. This group is mostly comprised of individuals that have experienced Christianity but walked away. These souls primarily believe in God, but do not belong to a particular church. They are freelance Christians, charting their own path, sampling from various faiths, or identify as spiritual but not religious. Many have left denominations that have watered down traditional teachings on marriage, life issues, the Trinity, morals, and the existence of heaven and hell. And at the heart of it is a feeling that if the church is simply a reflection of the world, why bother belonging? Early Christians faced a similar attitude and indifference, but took on Jesus' challenge to be salt, light, and a city set on a hill. Salt is used to flavor and preserve food. Light illuminates our world and shows what is beautiful and what is ugly, while a city set on a hill is a landmark used to navigate at a distance. In other words, their Christian influence enhanced the world and attracted others. Early Christians used another analogy. The church is a great boat that carries souls over stormy seas and snares to the safe shores of salvation. Why is it important to board the boat or try church again? St. John Henry Newman, a convert to Catholicism, said one of the marks of a healthy religion is its power of assimilation. In other words, religion must take in certain healthy aspects of the world, but resist what would lead it astray from God. Assimilation is the process every living being uses. As humans, our largest organ, the skin, keeps out most harmful things, while our mouth takes in nutrients and our lungs breathe in the air that is necessary to maintain life. But if certain bacteria or viruses slip through, or we can no longer take in nutrients, we will die and return to the earth. In like manner, if the church is a boat and springs a leak, then the boat becomes part of the sea. The unaffiliated or nones don't want to join a boat or a church that has failed to keep out the harmful waters. They would be better off treading water on their own. With this in mind, recall our favorite children's Bible story, Noah's Ark. God worked to save creation by having it board a great boat. The floodwaters were not God's retribution, but rather the natural consequence of letting in every harmful thing of the world. The people of Noah's time had morally drowned. Noah gathered his family and God's animals into a boat for safety. He was building the ark in the middle of the desert, which must have seemed foolish. When we first invite people to board the boat or try church again, we will seem just as foolish as Noah. But inside the ark, the creation safely journeyed to dry land. When they arrived, Noah opened the hatches and let the life out and replenished the land. It is inside the boat of the church that God is getting us safely to the shores of salvation. When was the last time we invited someone to join us here at Mass? Jesus warned in our gospel that if salt loses its flavor, it is no longer good for anything. This happens when we have a lack of enthusiasm and joy around religion and Christ. Pope Francis commented, "Our biggest hang-up to inviting people back to the church is that we evangelize like we have just returned from a funeral. If Noah had not enthusiastically promised a greater joy, he might have sailed alone. The Pope continued, "May the world of our time, which is searching, sometimes with anguish, sometimes with hope, be enabled to receive the good news, not from evangelizers who are dejected, discouraged, impatient, or anxious, but from ministers of the gospel whose lives glow with fervor, and who have first received the joy of Christ themselves."